Question number 91. Which substance is found in urinary sediment is more easily differentiated by use of polarized microscopy? Crystal and lipid. Remember yung cholesterol is not stained with Sudan or oil red O, but under a polarizing microscope, yung mga cholesterol containing cells and gas ay mag-exhibit ng characteristic multi-cross formation. Correct answer number 91, letter E. Number 92, using a polarized light microscopy, which of the following urinary elements are birefringent? Cholesterol. Yung mga cholesterol containing cells and gas under a polarizing microscope ay mag-exhibit ng multi-cross formation. Huwag pong kakalimutan. Correct answer number 92, letter E. Number 93, chemical and microscopic analysis of a urine specimen yields the following result. Dito po, 4 plus ang urine protein, 0 to 2 yung red cell, normal po to, 0 to 5 WBC per power field, normal din po, a few hyaline casts, pero yung microscopic niya may fatty, waxy, granular casts, and oval fat bodies. Now, the presence of fatty, waxy, oval fat bodies are seen in lipiduria. For example, nephrotic syndrome. In nephrotic syndrome, the condition is also characterized by massive proteinuria. Mababa ang serum protein. Bakit? Kasi nasa urine. And sa microscopic, pwede po tayo maka-encounter ng oval fat bodies, fatty cast, at saka waxy cast sa urine ng patient with nephrotic syndrome. Correct answer number 93, letter C. Number 94, C as a result reveals an increased protein, normal glucose, normal lactate, and an increased number of lymphocytes. This result most likely indicate, remember in meningitis, elevated ang protein, depressed ang glucose except for viral meningitis. Elevated ang lactate except for viral meningitis. So type of meningitis with the normal glucose, normal lactate, predominance of lymphocyte, viral meningitis. Number 85, the missing clot test determines the presence of synovial fluid. Remember, ang synovial fluid viscous, similar to an egg white. Ano po yung responsible for the viscosity of synovial fluid? Hyaluronic acid. Ano po yung mga tests for synovial fluid viscosity? Number 1, we have the string test. Yung string test po, ginagawa po ito sa bedside, yung syringe na ginamit for collection, ititry i-lift. At para masabing normal viscosity, when lifted, it must be able to form a 4 to 6 cm string. Another test for viscosity, we have the Ropes or the missing clot test. Ano pong pinaka-reagent for the Ropes test? Acetic acid. With acetic acid, kapag inad po ito sa normal synovial fluid, ano po yung normal result dito? Formation of a solid clot. Again, ano po yung substance responsible for the viscosity of synovial fluid? Hyaluronic acid. Correct answer number 95, letter D. Number 96, what is added to synovial fluid to determine its viscosity? Remember the two tests for synovial fluid viscosity are the string test, yung syringe po na ginamit for collection, itatry i-lift para masabing normal viscosity. It should be able to form a 4 to 6 cm string. Another, we have the Ropes test or the missing clot test. For the Ropes test, ano pong pinaka-reagent dito? Acetic acid, and normal synovial fluid with acetic acid ay magpo-form po ng solid clot. Formation of a solid clot, clear background. Kaya nga po kapag meron tayong synovial fluid for cell count, hindi pwedeng gumamit ng acetic acid kasi with acetic acid, magkaklat po yung synovial fluid. So, pag tinanong naman po tayo ano yung diluin na dapat i-avoid when handling synovial fluid, then acetic acid kasi nga po magkaklat. Number 97. Synovial fluid crystal that appear needle shape under a polarizing light, and yellow when aligned with the slow vibration of compensated polarizing light. For initial identification of crystal, pwede po tayong gumamit ng polarizing light. But for confirmation or verification, ang gamit po natin dito, compensated polarizing microscope. Because yung dalawang crystal na pinakamalaga, yung crystal of God and Pseudo God, under a polarizing microscope, parehas po silang birefringence. So, to differentiate, ano pong gamit dito? A compensated polarizing light. A red compensator is placed between the crystal and the analyzer. Under a compensated polarizing microscope, kapag yellow po yung kulay, that is an indication of negative birefringence. At kapag blue, that is an indication of positive birefringence. Huwag pong kakalimutan crystal associated with God, monosodium urate. Paano po dinescribe ang appearance nito? Needles. Sa urine po, variable ang appearance ng uric acid, but sa synovial fluid, in needles. Under a compensated polarizing microscope, ang kulay po niya yellow, an indication of negative birefringence. Another, we have yung calcium pyrophosphate, crystal associated with pseudo-God. Paano dinescribe po ang appearance nito? Rhomboid, square, or rod. Under a polarizing microscope, kulay blue, an indication of positive birefringence. Another crystal associated with osteoarthritis, apatite. Pag sinabi pong apatite, ito yung mineral name ng calcium phosphate. Wala po itong birefringence. Paano dinescribe ang appearance? Small particles that require EF, for identification. We have yung cholesterol crystal, notch or rhomboid plate. Under a polarizing microscope, blue, an indication, yellow, an indication of negative birefringence. Calcium oxalate, found in synovial fluid of renal dialysis patient, envelope, under a polarizing microscope, yellow, an indication of negative birefringence. Corticosteroid from medication, variable, pwedeng positive or negative birefringence. Take note, monosodium urate or uric acid, crystal associated with God, under a polarizing microscope, yellow, an indication of negative birefringence. Pseudo-God, calcium pyrophosphate, under a polarizing microscope, blue, an indication of positive birefringence. Ang tanong po dito, needle-shaped crystal, yellow, with a compensated polarizing microscope, an indication of negative birefringence. Monosodium urate or uric acid. Correct answer number 97, letter E. Next, number 98, following the administration of vaccine for Hep B virus, which of the following serologic marker should be positive anti-HBs, a marker for past infection or immune state, anti-HBs. Next, number 99, lifelong marker of Hep B virus infection. Kumbaga, ito yung mark na nagkaroon ka ng Hep B virus infection. Remember, this will also differentiate past infection from immunization. Lifelong marker for Hep B virus infection, anti-HBC, IgG antibody. Pag nagkaroon ka po ng past infection, or Hep B due to natural infection, bukod po sa anti-HBs, ang serum po natin ay magpa-positive din for anti-HBC IgG. Pero kapag naka-receive ka lang ng immunization, ang serum mo ay magpa-positive lang for anti-HBs. Number 100. So forward grouping siya po ay group B. So remember, may reaction with anti-B, so expected na may reaction with anti-AB. Pero pag group D po tayo, meron po tayong anti-A. So dapat may reaction with A cell. So halimbawa po ito ng weak or missing antibodies. Wala po yung expected reaction sa reverse typing. So sino po ito? Pwedeng group B na unit. Remember, ABO antibodies are not well developed at birth. Mga 3 to 6 months bago ma-develop ang ABO antibodies. Yung mga elderly patient, group B na elderly, as we age, nagdi-decrease ang production ng antibodies. Another, yung mga immunosuppressed, na-depress ang production ng antibodies. So, correct answer number 100, letter E. Number 101, which of the following is consistent with the following ABO discrepancy? Ang forward grouping po niya, siya po ay group AB. Although weak lang reaction with anti-B. Pero, pag AB ka po, dapat walang reaction with A cell at saka B cell. Kasi mga AB patient, wala naman po silang anti-A at anti-B. So, sino po ito? Ito po yung true group A na merong acquired B phenomenon. True group A, kaya po meron siyang anti-B sa kanyang serum. Correct answer 101, letter C. Number 102. 96-year-old elderly po. Ang forward grouping niya, siya po ay group O. Pero pag group O ka po, meron kang anti-B at saka anti-A. So, dapat may reaction with A cell and B cell. So, missing or weak reaction in the reverse grouping. Sino po to? Pwedeng neonate, pwedeng immunosuppressed, or pwedeng elderly. So, correct answer 102, letter A. Next, 103, ang forward po niyan tsaka reverse, siya ay group O. Pero, sa antibody screen, lahat nag-react. So, sino po ito? Maaari po itong Bombay. Remember, yung Bombay red cell ay incompatible sa lahat. Ang Bombay patient, ang Bombay blood, incompatible po sa lahat kasi meron po siyang anti-H. Remember, for antibody screening, ang pinaka-reagent po natin doon ay group O red cell with known antigens. So, bakit po lahat nag-react? Kasi mga Bombay individual, meron po silang anti-H yung group O red cell. Siya po yung may pinakamaraming H antigen. Correct answer 103, letter D. Next, 104, mixed field reactions, some are agglutinated, others are not agglutinated, may be associated with which of the following? All of this, yung mga weak subgroup, chimerism, and in transfusion. Correct answer 104, letter D. 105, the antibody. Which antibody is typically considered to be an autoantibody if found in the serum of an adult anti-capital I? Pinaka-common na cold antibody, common nag-interfere sa reverse typing. So, anong pinaka-remedy dito? Warming. Hanggang dito po muna. Salamat po sa lahat na nakinig. See you ulit next week. Next week po yung ating part 2 ng practice exam. Thank you!